All right. Yeah, Garth's son saved me hours and hours and hours of work.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Called him any hour of any day. It was awesome.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sitting and still being here for us. Thanks to Garth and to Candace and to Jen and everyone at Shunpike for doing all you do to bring all these people together. I think it's the most amazing thing, really. And it's so great to see all of you still here out in the audience, and thank you. So this is a story of how 3 nonprofit arts organizations, 3 authors, and 9 musicians collaborated to put on a really great show, raise money for literacy, and continue to reap benefits well past event night. So the 3 organizations were, as you see, these 3 right here on your screen. Seattle 7 Writers is the one I know about. We are a nonprofit collective of 77 authors, poets, playwrights, and screenwriters in Seattle. And our mission is to connect writers, readers, indie booksellers, and libraries, and also to support literacy in the community while having a lot of fun.
And my name is Geoff Larsen, and the Bushwick Book Club of Seattle is a group of over 300 musicians, 20 teaching artists, and 30 volunteer staff who collaborate to create unique live performances of original music inspired by the written word and build the next generations of singer and songwriters. And for this project in particular, titled 3 for 3, we worked with Hugo House, which is the Seattle's preeminent literary center.
So as Garth will attest, everything we've done at Seattle 7 has started with a desire and a what-if question. What if we wrote a collaborative novel with 36 authors? We did it. What if we started a writer's residency? We're doing it. In January 2013, I thought, what if we could do something with that really cool and intriguing organization I've been hearing a lot about, Bushwick? But I didn't know them. I didn't know how to find them. And so I did what we all do, and I went on Facebook. And I sent him one of those. I sent, to the Bushwick site just a message saying, hey, I'm with Seattle 7 Writers. I think you guys are awesome. Do you think we could ever do something together sometime? And I got a reply from a man whose name I still did not know. And he said, how about we get some coffee?
Yeah, so then there we were at Cafe Zangara on Queen Anne, right? So, like they have their way of working through things. Bushwick's team of artists is focused on creating these unique performances. And there's so many pieces to our events that include working with musicians and audio and video recording and video elements to the show itself and the production of the events. There's so much going on that I need to have a team that I work with. All these 30 volunteers that I work with all have their say. We have discussions about what's going to happen. We compromise with each other, and we're always trying out new ideas for these events. And that's the kind of the way that I approach organizational collaborations as well. And one of the main things is to make sure you have a kind of organic process to finding that mutual goal and mission. So I see this initial stage, like getting coffee with Jenny, was as like kind of the free sharing of ideas, trying to share new ideas and rebooting old ideas, and then definitely like collaborating with each other and trying out, bouncing off of each other, finding new ideas itself. And no matter what, after you have this first initial discussion, I always think you need to leave, and you need to let it sit, you need to let it percolate, you need to let it just chill out and see how it happens for yourself. And then it's also important for your organization just to keep on going itself. Try out your own things that are happening, because you never know when your programming is going to click with that organization itself, with that partner. And I always think it's important not to force the collaboration. I've made that mistake before, where forcing a collaboration turned into something that you saw on stage. And you don't want to see it on stage. And so for Jenny and I, it took about 2 years to make this happen. Just coffee, conversation, until we found what our aligning missions were. And our aligning missions between the 3 organizations were super powerful. The Bushwick Book Club's mission is to inspire reading and appreciation of local music, where Seattle 7 is to connect readers and writers and support the literacy in the community, and Hugo House is just all about supporting the written word itself. And and we were all looking for exciting new programming and reach to new audiences. But there was one roadblock that we still had.
This slide is for Jennifer and Andrew, although that's New Zealand, sorry. Yeah, we had a big roadblock because Seattle 7 Writers, everything that we do out in the community, every event that we have, we made it, incumbent upon ourselves that we would raise money for literacy. We thought, well, we have star power in this organization. We have all this stuff. We have people who want to come see authors, hear authors, hang out with authors, whatever that may be. So the one good thing we can do with that is to raise money for literacy. And so for the first, year and a half, going on 2 years, we just did not have that component that we could find what do we raise money for, what makes sense. We just didn't have it until Geoff came up with this solution.
Yeah, so we started working on our education program. It's called Style Songwriting Through Youth Literature Education. And with this program, we push into classrooms to create original music inspired by books that are already inside the student's curriculum. This is a 5-day program that takes place of a test or paper, and the last piece of it is a recording project in the classroom with the students. And we follow all the state-required Common Core state standards and the 21st century skills. It's perfect for students who are struggling in their English class and need to be inspired. It's really hard to be inspired sometimes. This is a really perfect way.
So Seattle 7 Writers Board could really get in line with that. That felt like something that we could be really passionate about, and we really, really wanted to go forward with it. And so what was really cool was that Bushwick had already done a presentation with Tim Egan's book, The Short Night of the, I can't even read it from here, but The Shadowcatcher.
Short Nights of the Shadowcatcher.
Which is the Edward Curtis photographs, the book about all those beautiful photographs that he took. And so Tim Egan happened to be a Seattle 7 writer. So we had our first author on board that we could present in the show. Well, and Gar Stein just happened to be having a book come out really soon after that, a new book called A Sudden Light, which also had this real cool historical element to it. And then we did a little thinking, and yeah, I'm not touching it. Another Seattle 7 writer, Nancy Horan, had released a book called Under the Wide and Starry Sky about the wife of Robert Louis Stevenson. So all three of these authors came on board, got together, and said, yeah, we want to go ahead and do this. So then we needed the musicians. Yeah,
3 amazing, amazing books. Yeah. So I work with songwriters and musicians, which is tough. Gar said I'm a bass player. My job is to be the grounding force, make sure that I herd all the cats that are running around out there as musicians. And with Bushwick's events, I found that 9 performers was the perfect amount of time for an audience to sit and listen and to be engaged. And it gave Seattle 7 the opportunity to have those 3 books, and for Bushwick's to put 3 musicians per author. And I actually randomly choose the performers to go with the books, because I think that it's kind of fun to see what's going to happen. Because you choose very specifically, but we just randomly pull them out of this hat, probably right here. I write them all down and pull them out. I think it's kind of interesting. We did have Tim Egan's book already, but I think it's really fun to randomly choose them. But our main goal is to make it fun, and to make it like sitting in your living room, having a good time, making it inspiring for everyone, to make it tight and to the point. You want to give the audience the time to reflect on what's happening on stage.
So Hugo House was the last organization to come on board. Both Bushwick and Seattle 7 Writers had done a lot of events there, and in their theater they will do anything that's literary themed, but they won't do anything else. So this was a great fit. Tree Swenson came on board there not too long before that as the executive director, and we developed an even stronger relationship there at Seattle 7, and a really strong desire to have Seattle 7 writer events in Hugo House, because it's such a great place. If you have never been there for an event, make sure you go online and look their place up and go there and do some stuff, because they have great stuff. The other cool thing was that another Seattle 7 writer member, Joan Legant, was selected as their fiction writer in residence right before that, and so she agreed to be the MC, and then all we had left to do was put on a really great show. Yeah, and so the event itself had an incredible energy between the authors and musicians and the audience. Everyone had a connection there. As many people read the book as possible. It's just so awesome to have that grounding force of a source material. So deciding to look at the event itself, the actual way the event happened is it took a lot of meetings between Seattle 7 and Bushwick and Hugo House. Hugo House obviously has their own way of putting on events, and me and Garth went there and we checked it out. Me and Jenny went and checked some things out, and we went over how that programming would look, and we all had our input in how that event would look. And so after that intro with Joan Legant, each author did a short presentation before welcoming the musicians onto stage, and each musician would explain their inspiration and perform their song. So the audience and the
the audience and authors and musicians were all blown away. It's the first time they get to hear this often. So it's pretty kind of a cool emotional experience to see when an author gets to hear their song that was inspired by their book for the first time. It's kind of a hard sentence to say.
Really cool.
And afterwards, we had a question and answer period. It was pretty cool with the audience. And so this is a win-win-win for everybody. It's the sharing of the audience between the three orgs. There's many merch sales. There's brand new music created, great interactions between the audience and musicians, and money raised for our education program. And musicians benefited for the future. They had the chance to write new music inspired by a book. And there's tons of albums now out there that are all book-inspired albums that you can check out. I actually have some with me here. Make sure everybody takes something home with them. And
Nice.
yeah, musicians gotta go on and use these songs forever.
Awesome. Authors also really benefit because they can use the songs on their websites to promote their books. They can put them on social media. Garth actually put together a book club kit with the songs from this event for his use in promoting, as you can hear, he does so well, his book, A Sudden Light, as it goes into paperback. And so that was just the first annual. But by branding the event and staying committed to continuing it and improving it, we're going to sustain it year after year, we hope. And we would like you to save the date for this year, which is December 11th. Thanks very much.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you. You've got your calendars completely filled. You've got John. What date is your next conversation?
September 20th.
September 20th is John's conversation. What date is our thing?
12/11.
December 11th.
12/11. December 11th is our thing. We've got the genre benders coming up when? In March. First weekend in March, and November 12th, the next buzz. And if you collar Shelley, you can figure out if you can go camp out and like see masks that light up by your mood. Cool things.
All amazing programs.
We're gonna do one really quick thing here, real quick here. Yes, sir.
It says there's a thing at Dusty Strings
Oh, I wasn't going to promote my own stuff, but September 25th, we're writing original music inspired by Junot Diaz's brief, wondrous life of Oscar Wilde.
Whoa.
And then October 31st, we're doing Stephen King's Carrie. It's going to be a huge prom event at Hales Palladium.
Wow. All right, rock on. So we're going to do this experiment. Please bear with us. It's really low technology. Jeff's in charge. It either will take 10 seconds and implode or take a minute and be really cool. So let's try it.
Yeah, so I wanted to have, we're here about collaboration and working together, so I was going to write a song and actually kind of do a Mad Lib song where everybody added in words and I was going to play it for you, but nothing really clicked for me when I was trying to write it, and like I said, I don't like to force things. So I was thinking of another idea with a hive mind, and it made me think of a thing that I do with my free jazz musicians. I'm in a group called the Blindfold Ensemble. We put blindfolds on, and then we play music. And so one of our things that we do is we put the blindfolds on, and then we all pick a note to sing. And we're going to do something that's kind of like a B here. Right? Whatever it is. I want everybody to choose a note. Don't choose the note I just did. I shouldn't have done that. I blew that. I'm really sorry. Choose a different note. And what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, pick a random note, but then you have to listen to the people around you. And what's going to happen is you try to match whoever's next to you. And what ends up happening over this time is we are going to end up on one single note as a group. Okay? Does everybody understand? And you just kind of keep on humming. We'll just hum and listen to the person next to you. Keep your ears open. This is a collaboration trying to figure out what note it is that we have in this room right now. What's the most important note? Are we all ready? Does everybody understand? Yes. All right, so close your eyes and go ahead and take a deep breath. Very good. I think that's our note right there. Did you guys hear how it all kind of started adjusting to each other? We could have gone on for 10 minutes, but I know that we're on a time length right now. It's a really cool experiment to try. I welcome trying it in your meetings too. It's kind of a neat thing to try out. There you go, Garth. Garth Stein, everyone. Garth Stein.